a mafia boss serving a life sentence. Escaped from Italy's Rebibbia prison. He didn't dig a tunnel, scale a wall, or cut through a fence. He simply walked out the front gate. Even stranger, this fugitive, wanted across Europe, vanished without a trace for 19 years. His name was Gamino, born in 1961 in Agrigento, Sicily. The city had long been run by organized crime, plagued by chaos and violence. In the early 1980s, Gamino joined Stida, a well-known Sicilian mafia group. The group wasn't as famous as the mainstream mafia, but it was just as ruthless. And at the time it was locked in a violent turf war with rival gangs. Gamino was brutal and rose fast, going from a low-level member to one of the group's top leaders. He was involved in drug trafficking, extortion, and running protection rackets. In 1989, Gamino mistook an ordinary civilian for a rival mafia member and shot him dead in public. Knowing the killing would trigger a full-scale police manhunt, he fled Italy that same night and went into hiding in Barcelona, Spain, for 9 years. In 1998, Spanish police arrested him at a bar in downtown Barcelona and extradited him back to Italy. A court convicted him of murder, drug trafficking, and mafia association, and sentenced him to life at Rebibbia prison in Rome. Rebibbia is one of Italy's largest prisons, built to hold mafia bosses, terrorists, and other high-risk inmates. The prison has high walls, watchtowers, and full surveillance, with armed guards posted at every entrance and exit. Staff strictly enforced head counts, visitor checks, and recorded phone calls. But the prison was too big to run without gaps. With thousands of inmates and a steady stream of visitors every day, airtight security was nearly impossible. Patient and calculating, Gamino quietly waited for the right moment to escape. That moment came on the 26th of June, 2002. That morning, a film crew was allowed into the prison chapel to shoot a movie, bringing in more than 30 crew members and actors, along with a lot of equipment. At 12:30 p.m., during visiting hours, nearly 60 inmates gathered on the lawn near the chapel, mixing with family members, children, and staff in a noisy, chaotic scene. Gamino had already been cleared to enter that area. During a break in filming, an inmate suddenly climbed the prison wall, shouting and refusing to come down. Alarms went off immediately. Guards rushed to the wall. Filming stopped. Visitors panicked. Children cried. And the whole prison fell into chaos. While everyone's attention was on the commotion at the wall, Gamino didn't run. He calmly blended into the panicked crowd of visitors. The prison let inmates wear regular clothes in the visiting area, which made him nearly indistinguishable from any other visitor. The guard at the exit gave him a 2-second glance and waved him through. That's how Gamino walked straight out the front gate of a maximum security prison. At 3 p.m., during a routine head count, staff discovered Gamino was gone. By then he had already vanished without a trace. A later investigation found that the inmate who climbed the wall had likely been paid to stage the distraction, and that someone linked to the mafia inside the prison may have helped. On June 27, Italian newspapers ran the escape on their front pages, and the whole country was stunned. In 2014, Europe issued a warrant for his arrest, and he landed on Italy's list of its 100 most wanted fugitives. Police confirmed he was still at large, but they could never pin down where he was hiding. In fact, after evading a nationwide manhunt in Italy, Gamino had quietly slipped back into Spain. He avoided Barcelona, where too many people knew him, and settled instead in Galapagar, a small town about 30 kilometers northwest of Madrid, with a population of just 25,000. The quiet, out-of-the-way town saw few tourists, a perfect place to disappear, to cut all ties to his past. Gamino severed contact with his family in Italy, and never called them again for 20 years. He married a Spanish woman, started a family, and settled into an ordinary life. Under his new identity, Manuel, he built a life in the town, first working as a cook, then opening an Italian restaurant, a produce shop, and a hair salon, all registered under his new name. For years, he kept his head down, ran his shops, chatted with neighbors, and went home every night, gradually becoming just another familiar local shopkeeper. No one connected him to the notorious Mafia fugitive still wanted back in Italy. In July 2018, a Google Street View car drove through Galapagar and happened to capture Gamino standing outside his produce shop, chatting with someone. The photo sat quietly on Google's servers for years, before it became the key piece of evidence that would blow his cover. In 2021, after a 2-year investigation, Italy's anti-mafia unit had 2 key leads. Gamino was hiding somewhere near Madrid, and he was running a business under the alias Manuel. Investigators searched Google Maps for businesses with Manuel in the name, and found Gamino's produce shop. In the Street View photo, a man stood in front of the shop, but Google had blurred his face, so the image alone couldn't confirm his identity. Investigators kept digging and, using the shop's listed phone number, traced it back to the Italian restaurant he had run years earlier. The restaurant had long since closed, but its old social media page still had a clear, unblurred photo of him at work. Using facial recognition, investigators matched the old wanted photo to the one online, and found the same distinctive features, especially a scar on his chin from a knife fight decades earlier in Sicily, a mark he could never erase. That scar was what finally confirmed his true identity. Once the lead was confirmed, Italian prosecutors teamed up with Spanish police to launch a cross-border manhunt. On December 17, 2021, police spotted Gamino out for a walk on the streets of Galapagar and arrested him on the spot. After 20 years in hiding, Gamino didn't resist or try to run. He just looked stunned. He asked the police how they'd found him, and when he saw that 3-year-old Street View photo, he realized he'd been undone by a scar he could never hide, and a Street View camera that happened to catch him. On January 5, 2022, Italian media broke the story, and it quickly made headlines around the world. From escaping in 2002 during the chaos of a film shoot, to getting caught in 2021 because of a Google Street View photo, Gamino's nearly 2-decade run was almost too dramatic to believe. Police said the arrest wasn't based on the photo alone. It was the result of months of careful investigation, with the Street View image simply confirming what they already suspected, and speeding up the case. As for where those 2 key leads came from, police never said, only confirming they came from an international intelligence network. In early 2022, Gamino, now 61, was extradited back to Italy and returned to prison. That's it for this episode. See you in the next one.